So there is this massive debate happening in education right now. What on earth do we do about AI in our schools? And let me tell you, the answer isn't about catching cheaters. It's about completely rethinking how we teach and how students learn.
Okay, let's just dive right in. This is the question on every educator's mind, and it pretty much splits the room into two totally different camps, two completely different ways of thinking about this new world we're in.
So on one side, you've got this gotcha culture. It's all about policing, suspicion, and enforcement. You get the picture. And on the other side, there's the guidance culture, which is all about coaching, being transparent, and working together. The real question is, how do we build a bridge from that first side over to the second? I mean, why not just get better at policing? Well, pretty much every expert will tell you the same thing. It's a strategic dead end. Trying to win an arms race against AI that gets smarter every single day, it's a game you just can't win. So you have to change the game. The best part is, we're not starting from zero. A blueprint for this already exists, and it comes from the Anaheim Union High School District in California. And the craziest part? They figured this out long before the AI explosion by focusing on one simple, powerful idea: the process of learning. So, what they do? They made this huge shift away from standardized tests, which, let's be honest, are often just about memorizing stuff for an afternoon. Instead, they moved to what they call performance-based tasks. We're talking speeches, lab reports, public service projects, things that show you can use your skills in the real world. Their whole system is built to measure growth in what they call the 5 C's. That's creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and character. You know, all the crucial skills that a multiple choice test just can't even begin to touch. Here's an easy way to think about it. A standardized test is like that multiple choice quiz you take to get your driver's permit. A performance task, that's the actual road test. One shows you memorize the rules. The other proves you can actually drive the car. So what happens when a district with 26,000 students, most of them from low-income families, decides to focus on how kids learn instead of just the final grade? Well, the results were, frankly, they were astonishing. First off, get this, their graduation rate just soared, hitting an incredible 91% in 2023. But they weren't just getting a piece of paper. The number of students who were actually ready for California's top universities, that jumped up to 54%. They were graduating truly prepared. Okay, but this next number, this is the real game changer. Of the graduates who went to a tough school like UC Irvine, a staggering 98% were still there a year later. They don't just get in, they stay in, and they succeed. That tells you the model is working. And this isn't just about data points on a chart. We're talking about real students' lives. Take Matthew Franco. He took the awful tragedy of his father's death from a fentanyl overdose and turned it into this powerful soapbox speech for one of his assessments. For him, it felt like people were actually listening. And that, well, that changed everything for him. So, let's connect the dots here. How do we take this incredible success story from Anaheim and use it to solve our AI problem? How do we build that bridge from the gotcha culture over to the guidance culture? All right, the foundation of this whole bridge is an idea called the Learning Process Portfolio. It's not about the final paper, it's a whole collection of stuff that basically makes a student's entire thinking process visible. You can actually see the journey, the messy parts, the aha moments, all of it. So what actually goes in this portfolio? We're talking the real evidence of learning. Their conversation logs with an AI, drafts where they've marked up their own changes, feedback they got from classmates, and, this is key, their own reflections on how it all went. You're seeing the process, not just the polished final product. And this is where it gets really brilliant. Anaheim isn't running away from AI, they're running towards it. They're actually building their own custom AI tool with UC Irvine, and its job is to analyze these portfolios and find evidence of growth in those all-important 5 Cs. They're literally using AI to measure what actually matters. So you can see how this completely flips the script for teachers, right? They stop being guards trying to build walls to keep AI out. They become architects designing bridges to get students to a place of deeper learning. With these portfolios, teachers aren't AI detectives anymore. They're more like inspectors of the build quality of the learning. They can coach a student from being an apprentice who just asks AI for the answer to a builder who uses it as a helper, all the way up to a chief engineer who actually argues with the AI and uses it as a real thinking partner. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds great, but how do I actually do it? Well, here's a simple 4-step playbook. Let's call it a blueprint jam. You can use this to fix any assignment that feels a bit wobbly in the age of AI. Like that classic animal report. So instead of just turning in a final paper that an AI could have written in 30 seconds, the student now submits a whole animal expert portfolio. We see their brainstorming chat, their first draft with their own edits, feedback from a friend, the final paper, and a reflection. Suddenly, you can't fake the learning. It's all right there. And this isn't just about the end of unit project. It's about using AI to make the day-to-day learning better. Anaheim is already piloting an AI tutor named Scrappy. It's shaped like a dog. And instead of just giving answers, it acts like a coach, nudging students and helping them figure things out. Now that is what the guidance culture looks like. Look, at the end of the day, this whole shift isn't really about AI. It's about designing learning experiences that are more meaningful and more transparent. It's about being architects who build bridges, not guards who build walls. So that leaves one last question for all of us to think about. What's the first wobbly bridge you're going to rebuild?